Mike Pachelli here. Hope you're all doing well, and thanks for tuning into this lesson video. I'll be talking about 8 Days a Week as recorded by the Beatles in October of 1964. Now, in August of '64, the Beatles were to write music for their upcoming film. The film was tentatively called 8 Arms to Hold You, but of course we know it ended up being called Help. At that time, the Beatles didn't have much material, so they were looking for ideas. Now, there's 2 stories on the origin of the title 8 Days a Week. Paul tells them both. One story is that he was on his way to John Lennon's house and he was being driven by a chauffeur because Paul had lost his license due to a number of speeding tickets. Well, on the way, Paul was chatting up with the driver and he asked him, "Have you been working a lot? What you been doing?" And the driver says, "I've been working very hard, 8 days a week." So when Paul heard that and he got to John's house, he told John the title. They were very excited and the songwriting began. And fun facts to know and tell, that was something that happened on a regular basis. They'd come up with a title first and then the lyrics would kind of follow suit. But later years, Paul tells another story. He says that it was just Ringo who had said 8 days a week as one of his malapropisms. So who knows the origin of the title 8 days a week, but it's a cool song. Funny that John never really liked the song though. He always just thought it was garbage. And I think that was probably because the lyrics are very simple. The rhyme scheme, true, you, mine, time. The lyrics weren't that impressive, I guess, to John. Paul wrote the main part of the song and John wrote the middle 8. They got in the studio in October, I think it was 6 of '64, and they began work on it. They didn't know what they were going to do to the intro. So initially, they were singing oohs in unison, a long ooh and just a ooh. Then they put oohs and acoustic guitar, and then they were doing oohs in harmony, but they were never quite satisfied with the intro of the song. They did 6 takes, and they got the rhythm track, the basic rhythm track, on take 6. Again, experimenting more with oohs and ahs, but never quite got it. They went back in the studio, I think it's October 18th, and at that time, again, experimenting with more oohs and ahs and this and that. But finally, John and George came up with that really cool intro. John on his Gibson J160E and George on a 12-string. And I'll show you how they did that in a moment or two. At that session, they also experimented with, they double-tracked the vocals and they put hand claps on it too, on that second thing, so they got it together. It was mixed I think the 27th of October by Norman Smith and Ken Scott. And that was the first time that any pop song began with a fade up. So it's quite cool. They didn't know what to do originally with that intro, and then they faded it up, and it's just a great intro and ending. It was released on Beatles for Sale in the UK in December of '64. We didn't get it here in America, I should say, until I think maybe February of '65 on Capitol. That was the 45. So that would be the first time us kids in America heard it. And then it was on the Capitol release, Beatles 6, I believe in June of 1965. Beatles never played that song live. They never played 8 Days a Week. And man, to me it has such, wonderful, youthful, reckless abandon and bravado, and it's just so joyous and fun to do. And plus, John Lennon's rhythm guitar part is just exceptional on it, and I'll show you that momentarily. So I think that's the backstory. Let's get started. John Lennon's acoustic guitar part is just magnificent on 8 Days a Week. Now, to play the intro, you'll need these chords: a D, a D suspended, an E, an E7, and a G. Now it goes like this. It goes from D to D suspended, from E, quick E7 back to E, and in the same pattern, but just on the G, and back to a D. So in time, come on Ringo. 1, 2, ready, play. Just so effective. And note, John plays it very strong along with George. Now, what's so really great about this rhythm playing is that John plays and sings the same thing a lot of the times. Many times when you hear folks play songs like this, they'll just strum. They'll just go. But that's so not John Lennon. When he's singing, "Ooh, I need," he's playing really strong. And note, though my chart is written out in eighth notes, they kind of swing eighths. So it's not ever really straight. Like the second eighth note or on the and is more like the last eighth note of an eighth note triplet. So it always has to have a little swing feel. So again, the verse, he's playing straight through. He plays just so nice and hard. He plays. I just love that he's not afraid of quarter notes, because Ringo is doing the eighth note thing on the hi-hat, George is doing these offbeat stabs, and Paul is doing his usual kind of based around quarter notes. So the fact that John could just drive with quarter notes makes this thing move, propel forward always. Second part of the verse again is exactly like the first. Now, I'm over exaggerating, but you'll see exactly how it's done when I do the sound like after, but that's what John does. Just quarter notes, just pounds through to move the band forward. And when it comes on to this, the second part of the verse, he strums a little more normally. You'll need a B minor for this part. And I've already showed the other chord. So it's B minor to G, B minor to E. And on this part, it's but in John Lennon 2's style, when he's picking up the chord to go to another chord, there's always a little ghosting. So don't be afraid, even though it's like, you get on the way up, even though it's the beat 4 is a quarter note, you can get a little ghosting before you get to the G. And then back to the same basic strum, quarter notes. Just powerful driving. And note, John used a tiny, do I have one of those? Yeah. John used one of these tiny little teardrop kind of picks. A little too small for me to strum, but if you want to get it accurately, this is the kind of pick that John used back in those days. So let me play a verse in time here. Thank you, Ringo. Play along with me if you like. 1, 2, 3. Okay, calm down, Ringo. When you first learn this, just go. I don't know, take it down to like about 100, so you get the feel of those quarter notes, and just play it like. Just dig in like that. Now on the bridge, you'll need an A and the B minor. And the bridge is just simple strums. It's just. We should do that in time. For the 8 days a week, tempo's around 136, I'd say. Something like that. Go like this. There you go. Bridge. 1, 2, ready, go. It's just great. I just love the quarter note thing and the reckless abandon of John's acoustic work there. Those are basically all the parts for the verse and bridge, and then he repeats the intro, you know, the same thing at the end, and just stops on the D chord. So it just... And that's everything you need to play 8 days a week like John Lennon. George Harrison is playing his Gretsch Tennessean on 8 days a week. I've got a Gretsch country classic for the song. But truth be told, these early Beatles songs really aren't about tone, because when George Harrison had his guitar set up for the Shea Stadium concert, he hadn't changed his strings in 3 years. So if you want to get that early Beatles tone, never change your strings and play in smoky bars 7 days a week. Okay, for the intro on the rhythm part, George just does 8th note triplets for 4 measures. He does something like this. That will be you know, a sustaining note on top of the cool 12 string part that he does. I'll show you in a moment. Now for the verse, you'll need these chords: a D, an E, and a G. Well, for the first 8 measures of 8 days a week, George plays his rhythm part a little different. After, on bar 17, he gets into a figure that he repeats for the rest of the song. But the first 8 measures are unique in that he plays 2 quarter notes. He goes like this. He goes. So from the D to the E, on the and of 4, he ghosts on the way up and hammers on that E. Again, it's like. And then ghost hammer to the G. Ghost note on the last 8th note to the D. Again. Now, I'm exaggerating the fact to get the point across. The ghost notes are a little lighter, but that's what he's doing on those first 8 measures. Now when he comes to the second part of the verse, you'll need a B minor, to a G again, a B minor, and then to E. Now on this, he's probably using a volume pedal, and the volume pedal is half on half. Like if the volume pedal, that's full, that's half. I think you know what half is. But he plays the chord, and then he presses the volume pedal down, so it sounds like. You get the idea. And then at the last part of the verse is where he plays what he's going to continually play throughout the entire verse. And he plays on beat 2, and then he plays on the end of 3 and the end of 4. So it's like 1. And that's his part for the entire verse. So in tempo, just so you can, let me play the whole first thing if I can do it. Let's see if I can do it all right. Here's a whole first verse. 2, 3, 4. I got off at the end, but I think you'll understand. And the charts and tabs are available to download at mikepachelli.com. You can see exactly what he played. On the bridge, he plays this A first, to B minor, this E, and then this G, it slides up to an A. So on the bridge, it's similar to what John played. George plays. Now on this B minor, he's using the volume pedal on chord notes. It's like, and then the E, 1. So let me try to do that in time for you. Nicely done. Thank you, Ringo. And those are all the parts. And again, just at the end with the eighth note triplet, you know, at the very end. And those are all the parts you need to play the rhythm track of George Harrison on 8 Days a Week. For the intro and the outro, George Harrison overdubbed his Rickenbacker 360-12. It's a simple part, so effective though. You fret a note on the 11th fret of the G string and on the 10th fret of the B string, having the 4th string and the 1st string ring out. And you get kind of a D chord like this. Then you hammer on that 2nd string from the 10th fret to the 12th fret, kind of makes it a D6 for a moment, like. Move that up 2 frets and makes like an E to an E6, still ringing out the 4th and the 1st string. Move that up a minor 3rd and you get a G to a G6. Back down to the 1st position. So it sounds like this. And then on the very end, it just, instead of playing the last figure, he just holds the last D. So the very end sounds like. And that's that iconic 12-string part in 8 Days a Week. Okay, again, I've put it all together. I found this one extremely hard to sing to try to get the youthful joy and reckless abandon. I don't know how close I got, but just use it as a reference and play along all these various parts and you'll play 8 days a week like the Beatles. So here we go.
Ooh, I need your love, babe. Guess you know it's true. Hope you need my love, babe. Just like I need you. Hold me, love me. Hold me, love me. I ain't got nothing but love, babe. 8 days a week. Love you every day, girl. Always on my mind. One thing I can say, girl. Love you all the time. Hold me, love me. Hold me, love me. I ain't got nothing but love, girl. 8 days a week. 8 days a week. I love you. 8 days a week is not enough to show I care. Ooh, I need your love, babe. Yes, you know it's true. Hope you need my love, babe. Just like I need you. Oh, hold me, love me. Hold me, love me. I ain't got nothing but love, babe. 8 days a week. 8 days a week. I love you. 8 days a week is not enough to show I care.
I suggest you use my sound alike as a reference. Play along with each individual part and you'll get it just like the Beatles. If you'd like to drop me a line, do so at mikepachelli.com. That's where the chart and tabs are available to download. And like I always say, when you play these early Beatles songs, have fun doing it, because that's what playing the guitar should be all about. And if you would, I'd appreciate you subscribing to this channel. So until next time, I'm Mike Pachelli. Thanks for hanging out with me.